Shalom Mishpaka, and welcome to another exposition on the teachings of YaHUsHa and what he actually meant and not what has been interpreted to us in our churches. And to the tribes of Yasharah scattered abroad the surface of the earth, I say shalom to you. Now, another shocking exposition. Whether it's not shocking as much, this is not the main one. Okay, like I said, I'm starting from his teachings before I give you the main exposition to tell you the truth about how YaHUsHa was born from the book of Matthew down to Hazon, Revelation, and interpret the scriptures to you. But let me just start from the few basic things so that you can get comfortable before I go into the real born. Now, let's look at the book of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 44. Now, okay. No, let me start from 44. Because you see, if I say let me take it line by line, I can be on one chapter for the next 6 months. So what I'm just mentioning some points that is led in my ruach that I know is generally misunderstood and wrongly applied in our lives. Do you understand? But if you've got any question concerning maybe any other points I did not mention concerning the teachings of YaHUsHa that you are now not, what do they call it? You are not sure of, just write it down to me and I will answer you as soon as I get the opportunity. Now let's look at Matthew chapter 5 verse 44. See what it says. But I say to you, love your enemies, barak those cursing you, do good to those hating you, and pray for those insulting you and persecuting you. Verse 45 says, so that you become sons of your Father in the Shamayim, because he makes the sun rise on the wicked and on the good, and sends rain on the righteous and on the unrighteous. Let me stop there, because the main point I want to take here is 44. You say, you called enemy the other time Satan, and that it is men you should do good to, not your enemies, that the enemies is Satan. Yes, and I'm repeating it now very, very clearly to you. The only people you do good to in general are men in general. It doesn't matter whether they are Yasharah or not. You do good to them in general, as far as they've not turned to become your enemies. But when they become your enemies, that's you're now seeing a physical Satan. This does not apply to them. You don't do good to them. You don't pray for them. You don't barak them. You see, whoa, that's not what we're taught in our churches. Of course. Because why? This verse has been grossly misinterpreted. Now let me interpret it very clearly for you. Now there's one I want to quote because I don't want this video to be unnecessarily long. You see that I'm doing it short, so it can be easy for me to easily upload it. I want you to remember the part where YaHUsHa said, what did he say now? I am not sent, but to the lordship of the house of Yasharah. And what he also said to that Gentile woman, calling her a dog, when she said, come and heal my child. My child needs healing. I said, no. I was not sent to the Gentiles. I was sent to my brothers. And if you remember Tehillim 22, if you check my scripture reading, you see that I have come to make known your name to my brothers. That has always been the mission of YaHUsHa. He was sent to Yasharah, to Israel in English, not to any other person. It was very clear. Don't mind the teaching that they're teaching in the churches. That's the teachings of the what did they call it, of the Greek pagans. You have to know the truth because it is written in the Torah. There is only one Torah for the Gentile and for the Yahudi. Only one Torah and one Elohim. It's if you want to follow the Elohim of Yasharah, it's either you are following the Elohim of Yasharah or you are following JC. They are two different entities. Okay, let me not digress. So now, if you put this in mind, that YaHUsHa came for his brothers, you will understand that he was teaching this to the Yasharah, to the Israelites, not to the Gentiles. He was teaching the Yasharah in general. And he was telling them this, and this is very, very important. You have to really understand this, because if you don't understand this, this is how you put yourself in big trouble. He said, but I say to you, love your enemies. He's talking about enemies as a fellow Israelite. As a fellow Israelite. For example, remember the story of Joseph and his other brothers, and his other 11 brothers. Do you remember the story that Joseph, out of jealousy, his 10 other brothers, sold him to Egypt, Mitzrayim, to be a slave there at Potiphar's house until he became, what did they call it? He became the prime minister of Egypt. Do you remember the story? Exactly. So now, you see, Joseph, seeing that his 10 brothers are his enemies, I'm now using that as an analogy, he's not to curse them, because it is written in the book of the Bemidbar, that is Numbers, chapter, Baruch are those that Baruch you, and cursed are those that cursed you. That's blessed are those that bless you. I don't use that word blessed. The right correct word is Baruch and Barak. It cannot be interpreted to blessed. Blessed means something different. Blessed means to bleed out. That's not wrong. So I'll use Baruch. So Baruch is those that Barak you, and cursed is those that cursed you. Now, if someone that is an Israelite, that's a house of, from a child of Yaakov, is your enemy, you cannot curse that person, because that person is an Israelite. The person is a Yeshurun. You can only barak the person and keep baraking the person, because even if that person is your enemy and you curse that person, it's like you're cursing yourself. And Yahweh will curse you, because Yahweh already said it to Abraham. Whoever curses your descendants will be cursed. Whoever blesses you will be blessed. Whoever baruch you will be barak. That is how it is. So do you see? So he is referring, well, this teaching was teaching this not to the Gentiles, but he was teaching it strictly to his brothers. Say, please, please. Yes, I know that you're all Yeshurun, you're all Israelites, and I know among yourselves you have enemies, just like the story of Joseph and his brothers, but never curse each other. Continue doing good to that person. Why? Because as far as that person is an Israelite, as far as you're doing good to that person, he will keep giving you barakah. Do you understand? So I hope you understand that part very, very clearly. But now your enemies, who are Satan, you curse them. You rebuke them in the name of YaHUsHa El Shaddai. When they come around you with the nonsense. That is it. Look at the example that YaHUsHa gave. Look at to Peter. Did he do that to Johanna? Are you telling me that Johanna, John, the one he loves, did not commit any mistake? He must have made mistake. But Johanna was not his enemy. He was his friend. And what is the criteria for being YaHUsHa's friend? Is that obeying the Torah and doing what it's asked you to do. Reading the Torah and obeying it. And Johanna was doing that, but not Peter. And also I said, get it behind me, Satan. And there are other rebukes that he gave to Peter that was taken out of the Bibles that you read, that you're reading today. Only that one they managed to put in. I think Yahweh forced them to put that one in. He said, get it behind me, Satan, but you can never say that to a fellow Yeshurun like you, that is serving the same Yahweh with you. Please know the difference. Remember that Yosef brothers, they are all serving one Elohim. All one Yahweh, one Elohim. Do you understand? But even then, because everyone have levels of spirituality and levels of being filled with the Ruach HaKodesh, so of course that tendency will be there. You are jealous of him because he was so loved. And remember, the people you should do good to are those that are serving Yahweh, that calls upon his true name Yahweh. Even if they are your enemies, they are the ones you should barak. Because when you barak them, Yahweh keeps baraking you. Not those that are hidden. Not those that are idol worshippers that are your enemies. Because remember, they are also the enemies of your Elohim. Your Elohim hates them already. So you have a right to hate them and their deeds. Because your Elohim already hates them. That's why Yahweh says, in a book of the Psalm of Psalms, says, their prayer is an abomination before me. Even their prayer is an abomination. You cannot say you're praying for them to change their prayer is an abomination. Now, but those that call on the true name of the Creator, Yahweh, and serve the Elohim of Yeshurun, the Elohim of Israel, those are the ones that you do good to, no matter what they do to you. I hope you understand very clearly the difference. I hope it's clear enough. If please you don't understand, you're getting confused somewhat, please send me a question and I will try my best to answer it as soon as I can, because you must not miss this point. It's a matter of life and death. Anything YaHUsHa teaches and you misunderstand it, it can lead you to destruction. You have to get it right. Remember in the book of Revelation, Hazan, it says this, anyone that believes falsehood and practices falsehood shall not see the reign of the Shemayim. Is that bad? May the shalom of Yahweh that passes all understanding be with you now and forevermore. We are going to continue in the next video. See you there.